When there's a child out there that's not getting the same that your own child is getting, the difference will tell, and there will come a time in the society where that child is going to take its pound of flesh.
Where you can actually, everything from watching a program with the child, you can start up the conversation from something on the TV and say, oh, you know.
For me, it's like, hurry up with this business. And the other one said, Auntie, it's not about me, it's about the guys, they're not ready to marry.
Yes. If she wants to ask something, no, I know my mother very well. In fact, the most interesting one is when I put up pictures on WhatsApp, you know, Snapchat filters and all that, she will call me, remove that picture. There was a day I got tired of all that and I said,
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The responsibility of every leadership is to inspire hope.
National Working Committee of All Progressives Congress meets with President Muhammad Buhari, reassures Nigerians of a sustainable future.
Corruption has now been driven under the table, and that the corrupt ones can no longer flaunt the process of their corruption the way they used to do in the past.
Information Minister Lai Mohammed updates Nigerians on the fight against corruption. "165 rescued and more destruction of Boko Haram enclaves as security forces hit hard on insurgents."
I came actually dressed prepared for it to avoid any stories that touches.
Harmattan cold intensifies in Jos, weather predicted to be as low as 6 degrees Celsius. Hello, a lovely evening to you and welcome to the news on the network service of the NTA. I am Joseph Johnson in Abuja. With me from Lagos is Dotun Ogoyemi, Dipabari Siadomaweke in Port Harcourt, and Sadia Umar Digi in Sokoto will join us in the course of this telecast. Let's get to it then. The national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshiomhole, has described the New Year message by President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigerians as not only significant, but reassuring that the nation's upward trajectory for sustainable future is no fluke. Mr. Oshiomhole stated this after leading some members of the National Working Committee of the party to an audience with the President. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports.
The audience with the national leadership of the governing APC was the first formal engagement by President Muhammadu Buhari in the year 2020. The APC chieftains were in the State House to show appreciation to the Nigerian leader for ushering the nation into the new year and new decade with renewed hope for a better Nigeria, as contained in his first formal letter to his countrymen.
The responsibility of every leadership is to inspire hope, explaining periodically what he is doing, what he's going to do differently, and what he hopes to accomplish within a given time. And the President has said, even as I'm not going to contest again, I owe this country obligation to clean up the electoral process based on observed gaps and weaknesses here and there, so that I'll be leaving behind a legacy of free, fair, and credible elections. So we came essentially to assure the President that most well-meaning Nigerians are with him. They appreciate the hope, and the challenge now is to work hard to ensure that all of those promises that he has made, he will deliver in 2020, that we keep our word, because our word must be our bond with the people of Nigeria in our shared commitment to take Nigeria to the next level. All members of APC, rank and file and leadership level, must find time to reflect and contribute ideas on how to ensure that by this time, 2021, we will be able to look back and say, President said, I will deliver on X, Y, Z. At the end of the day, he did. And then we have a message for 2021.
The APC national chairman used the opportunity to commend President Buhari for his courage to put Nigeria first before any other sentiment in the execution of his mandate.
Consistently under this president, people are now used to going for Christmas without having to worry whether or not there is petroleum products in the market. I also think that we ought to celebrate the fact that we are able to celebrate Christmas and New Year, and people have rice everywhere that were not imported from other countries. Nigerian-made rice.
Mr. Oshiomhole, who presented a season's greeting card to the President, reassured the nation that in the year 2020, the governing APC will not only be stronger, but more coherent and peaceful. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government's anti-corruption crusade is steadily gaining momentum as a number of high-profile convictions have been recorded. This was contained in a brief by the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed. Anthony Forson has more.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, said it secured 890 convictions, standing as the highest anywhere in the world. This is against 2015 103 convictions, 2016 189 convictions, 2017 190 convictions, and 2018 202.
The high rate of convictions in 2019 is in addition to the billions of naira in looted funds that have been recovered by the EFCC.
On its part, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, has launched a novel project of tracking the huge resources allocated to constituency projects over the years, starting with the education and health sectors, a move the minister stressed has forced contractors back to project sites they had abandoned. While the Wahala Day app, a one-stop shop for daily information from ICPC and for Nigerians to report acts of corruption, has also been launched by the commission.
This is not the first time Nigeria is fighting the cankerworm of corruption, but it's the first time that the fight is being backed and sustained by a strong political will, with a president renowned for his honor, dignity, and incorruptibility. personally leading the fight. And that is making all the difference. I've also said that while the war against corruption is still a war in progress, it is also fair to say that corruption has now been driven under the table and that the corrupt ones can no longer flaunt the proceeds of their corruption the way they used to do in the past.
On security, Lai Mohammed reiterated that the gallantry of the nation's men and women in uniform was stepped up in the fight against insurgency, despite the fact that they are fighting the rump of Boko Haram as well as ISWAP.
It is important that we as citizens do not say or do anything to demoralize the gallant troops who are fighting to keep us safe. Let us remember them in our prayers and give them our support always, rather than sniping at them. Terrorism is not just a Nigerian problem. It's a global problem. It has global ramifications.
The ongoing border drill, the minister said, is undoubtedly one of the boldest decisions ever taken by any administration in Nigeria as part of measures to secure the nation's land and marine borders.
For clarity, the ECOWAS Protocol on Transit demands that when a transit container berths at a seaport, the receiving country is mandated to escort same without tampering with the seals to the border of the destination country. Unfortunately, experience has shown that our neighbors do not comply with this protocol.
Critical infrastructure on its part, the minister said, this administration has remained consistent in terms of developing the sector. Lai Mohammed added that most heartwarming is the signing into law the amended Deep Offshore Act by President Muhammadu Buhari. With the year 2019 remaining as a momentous year, the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration has indeed taken Nigeria closer to the next level target. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Although 2019 was an election year for Nigeria, the business of governance and implementation of policies and programs of the federal government did not suffer neglect, unlike the case in previous general election years. Mitari Ekben gives us highlights of the activities of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in 2019.
The reappointment of Boss Mustapha as Secretary to the Government of the Federation set in motion continuation of activities in the presidency and consolidation of the next level agenda. In the course of the year under review, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation successfully coordinated major national events such as the presidential inauguration, the maiden June 12 Democracy Day occasion, as well as Nigeria's 59th Independence Day ceremonies. It organized an induction retreat for ministers, federal permanent secretaries, and top government functionaries to acquaint them with status reports on crucial policies, programs, and projects, as well as key performance indicators of the Buhari administration to enable them pull together in service delivery.
This call to service requires all of us to fully share in the President's vision and agenda for our country.
2 national youth entrepreneurship and empowerment summits were organized by the SGF's office in 2019 to harness the abilities of Nigerian youths in the ICT and creative industries. 20 selected youth entrepreneurs were given 1 million naira each as cash prizes from the federal government.
This is a living proof now that yes, this government actually has plans for we youths and there are policies in place to make things work.
We'll be coached concerning how not to waste the money and how to put the money into our business in the most effective way.
Also in 2019, the SGF Boss Mustapha, on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari, waded into the age-long Tiv Jukun crisis. He moderated a peace meeting among stakeholders from Taraba and Benue states who agreed to cease hostilities in Taraba state to pave way for peace-building efforts.
There is nothing like peace. Peace is power. And I think me and you, we are very capable of solving this problem.
We would stand with you. We will do everything within the instrumentality of government facilities and actions that are supposed to be taken.
Regular meetings and interface between the SGF and the leadership of the National Assembly complemented concerted efforts to enhance executive-legislative relationship in the outgone year. The office supervised numerous ecological projects nationwide, including the establishment of a central effluent treatment plant for the industrial areas in Kano State to address long-standing ecological and pollution challenges.
Government has really done so much to take the Kano people out of this.
The SGF received reports of several committees on key reforms, including the report on strengthening internal security framework and community policing in Nigeria, with assurances that government has the political will for implementation. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Let's take you to Enugu State because the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says the earlier stipulated deadline for the completion of rehabilitation works at the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, is feasible given the level of work done so far. He was speaking while taking an inspection tour of the airport. Chinenye Nwoye reports.
Inspecting the level of work done at the runway of the airport in company of some officials of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Enugu State Governor, and some members of the State Executive Council and National Assembly, the minister expressed satisfaction with the level of work done so far. He acknowledged the support of the Enugu State Government and the National Assembly towards the project and appealed to users of the airport to be patient as the closure is in the overall interest of the public.
And we are satisfied that the contractor is capable and competent enough to deliver this procurement. By our program of work, we will be delivering this runway, God willing, before Easter.
Enugu State Governor, represented by his deputy as well as the chairman, House Committee on Aviation, promised continued collaboration and proper oversighting of the work to ensure efficiency.
The state will do all we need to do to make this thing work because we know its importance.
I also believe that the time before Easter should also be achieved. Not just about the Enugu, but it's about the southeast and the environs.
The rehabilitation work, according to the minister, goes beyond the extension of the runway to include airfield lighting to allow for day and night operations. The minister also noted that in addition, President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to fund the new international terminal building. In Enugu, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
And following concerns of motorists plying the Ajaokuta-Itobe Bridge, which currently has a wide gap in one of the sections of the bridge, the Federal Controller of Works, Kogi State, Jimo Kajogbola, says a team of engineers are being dispatched to the area to ascertain the immediate and remote causes of the problem and to replace the metal plates on the bridge. Kajogbola, who was speaking to NTA in a phone call, said there was no cause for worry and that the bridge is stable and is not collapsing. He adds that the joints are normal intersections on the bridge and that traffic has been diverted until the completion of work. Let's turn our attention now to the judiciary, where the Federal Capital Territory High Court, sitting in Maitama, has granted the application of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to extend the detention of the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Bello Adoke-san, in its custody. The vacation judge, Justice Othman Musa, gave the order, having taken a look at the ex parte application brought before the court by the EFCC counsel, Aisha Habib. The order is to keep the former Minister of Justice for additional 14 days pending his arraignment. The former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Bello Adoke-san, was arrested for alleged abuse of office and involvement in Malabu oil deal. Up ahead, update on Pape Bank robbery in Abuja. Stay with us.
I go. I feel like saying the bread don't take time finish.
Push! Oh! When they're supposed to buy food, they will not buy. We look here. It's still that same 200 naira food. We will still buy.
Okay, to 200. Make I put your usual bill.
Yes, but you go add 888. Join now.
It's a big level.
Is it not 200 you give that lady?
Now 888 is that.
888 now the new AWOOF. Recharge with star 888 star pin hash to enjoy 5 times AWOOF from MTN to call any network. You fit also enjoy am on top VTU. Just ask your vendor for AWOOF for you.
Conductor, where my 100 naira change?
Office man, you know they forget money self.
Oh, Forget scared. You go even hide it during that shit.
Think about that. No be only cloth this sewing machine they make. If you put food for your table and roof over person head. Carry you go Ogbonge fashion show around the world. Find the cocoa inside every story. Go bbc.com/pidgin to see more of your world.
Ute. Let me give phone to Smally, make I follow her.
Go. It's Wasiu, your former driver.
Hey! Wasiu! The video call! Oh, Kaka! Mommy! With my Glow 4G, I can now upload my cars online, sell and make plenty profit. Guess what they call me now, mommy? The new mega online car dealer.
Wasiu! Right now when the iron is hot.
See, we won't be like Shaki. I will come and meet you specially and bring one big one for you.
Why you won't see me?
Your daughter. I want to marry her.
You know where? I've been wanting to know the Lord.
Hello?
When Glow 4G day of you, confidence must stay body. Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
Telemundo new series. Meet Antonio. He has everything except a happy family. And Julieta, she has a dream man. Or is he a nightmare? Fall in love with Telemundo's new romantic comedy. It will sweep you off your feet. A Telemundo new series, Almost Yours, coming this January.
You're still watching NTN Network News with me, Joseph Johnson in Abuja. Now let's bring you an update of the Mpape Bank robbery. In a twist of development, the suspected banker, Larry Ehizo, who was accused of allegedly being the mastermind of last Saturday's Ford Mpape Bank robbery, that's in First Bank, has turned around to say that the last member of the syndicate, Ernest Wim, who the police said was on the run, did not threaten him into the robbery operation. He spoke to correspondent Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu after the last suspect was apprehended by the FCT Police Command.
29-year-old Ernest Ewim, a hotel manager and barman at Katampe in Abuja, said he is a customer of the bank whose account had a challenge and went to the branch of the bank to lay complaints. He said, coincidentally, Larry Ehizo was the one who attended to him at the bank and subsequently kept contact, which led to last Saturday's bank robbery.
He now said that he wants to give me work in the bank. And I said, which kind of work? He said he want to attack bank, First Bank, in Papi or Maraba. And I said, is it this one the work you are talking about? No, I'm not a thief, I'm not a robber. He now asked me if I can provide people for him. I said, no, I don't know anybody like that. So I don't know anybody like that. So, well, I'm working in Katampe and know this prince in Katampe as a photographer. But here, the kind of things I've been hearing about him, that he's a stubborn person, he used to fight, he's caught his...
Confirming Ernest's claim, Larry Ehizo said, contrary to his earlier claims, Ernest never threatened him into being part of the robbery operation.
Everything apart from some that he said was true. He didn't threaten me. I willingly collected his number. When I called him and he said I should give him 2 days, I should give him a few days. He was not forthcoming. I still called him. And he said he wants me to meet with Prince Will, first of all, because he knows him as an ex-soldier and he feels he's someone that will be game.
The FCT Police Command in a press statement explained that the arrest of the fleeing suspect is an indication that the command will not waver in its commitment to ensure protection of lives and property in the territory. The suspects will be arraigned in court on conclusion of investigation. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Well, we hope to bring you more updates as they unfold. Troops of the Operation Lafia Dole and the Multinational Joint Task Force rescue 165 victims from Boko Haram captivity. A statement by the Nigerian Army Operations Media Coordinator Colonel Aminu Iliasu indicates that the victims, mostly women and children, were liberated during a clearance operations in northern Borno. Colonel Iliasu notes that 75 suspected terrorists were arrested, others killed, arms and 15 cars recovered during the encounter. Similarly, repentant militias in Lantang North and South local government areas of Plateau State have surrendered several arms to troops of Forward Operation Base in Shendam, Plateau State. And several Boko Haram terrorists have been neutralized, and some structures in their camp at Abulam in the Sambisa forest area of Borno State have been destroyed in airstrikes conducted by the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole. A statement by the Nigerian Air Force revealed that the mission marked the commencement of Operation Rattlesnake 2, an air interdiction operation aimed at taking out some identified insurgent camps and logistics facilities in order to further unhinge the terrorist center of gravity and diminish their fighting capability. Abulam was attacked based on credible intelligence reports indicating that the terrorists had resumed using the once abandoned settlement as a staging point from where they launched attacks against on-ground troops locations. It would be recalled that mid-December 2019, the Nigerian Air Force planned and executed the highly successful Operation Rattlesnake 1. Operation Rattlesnake 2 is planned to consolidate the gains of the earlier operation and shape the battle space for further air and ground operations. So talking to Tim Martis, 2019 has been a checkered year for the Nigeria Police Force, recording successes in the fight against crime and criminality and also grappling with some challenges. Francis from reviews the Nigeria Police Force in 2019.
The Nigeria Police Force started the year with Ibrahim Potun Idris as the IGP. But barely a fortnight into the year, Mohammed Adamu took over on the 16th of January 2019. It was a time Nigeria was not only preparing for general election, but also grappling with the internal security challenges of threats of kidnapping, armed robbery, banditry, and communal violence across many parts of the country. Operation Puff Adder was launched in April as an operational intervention blueprint to stabilize the internal security space.
Abuja-Kaduna Expressway was completely unpassable when we came. Today, that road has become a very safe corridor.
Puff Adder, after 8 months, had arrested about 6,531 high-profile suspects, comprising 2,627 armed robbery suspects, 1,621 suspected cultists, 1,527 kidnapped suspects, and 758 murder suspects.
We did not only demystify them, we successfully reclaimed the public space from them and denied them the liberty to attack citizens at will, without fear of a superior response from gallant operatives of the Nigeria Police.
We might not have gotten to the promised land, but the good news is that we are out of the wilderness and we are very close to the promised land.
2019 also see the re-established of the Ministry of Police Affairs by the federal government to, among other things, initiate, formulate, and implement policies and programs relating to policing and internal security.
The ministry under my watch will work tirelessly to ensure that we get the funding the police needs, and we will also inject new ideas into policing of their nation.
Welfare of officers and men of the police also took center stage, with the Inspector General of Police addressing abuses associated with promotion, making merit to be the only criteria.
Officers are now motivated more than ever before to perform their duties, assured that they shall be rewarded within the dictates of our traditional policing standards.
training and retraining of policemen and women to enhance their knowledge and improve performance with a view to attaining policing in the 21st century was prioritized in the year under review. Barely few weeks to the end of the year, President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurated new sets of policing assets and National Command and Control Headquarters and the Police Crime and Incident Database Center. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, at the end of the year conference with strategic police officers, stresses that improving the overall efficiency of the police through capacity building in policing technology, intelligence, investigation, prosecution, as well as crime prevention will top the agenda of the force in 2020. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
In other news, the humanitarian services of the First Lady Aishatu Buhari under the Future Assured program has reached out to pregnant women and other patients in 5 hospitals of Jigawa State. Hawa Haliru Haruna has details.
The First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, who was represented by her personal assistant, Hambarut Sanwali, was in 5 local governments of Jigawa State to distribute the provision packs. Patients in Kazaure, Miga, Roni, Viwa, Enkwashi, and Dusa hospitals benefited from the gesture. She said the support is to relieve their suffering and call on other well-to-do individuals to inculcate the habit of giving. Jigawa State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Yelwa Dau, and some beneficiaries expressed appreciation for the First Lady's support.
She purposely made this for women and children because they are her top priority. So it is her brainchild. This is what she's been doing, and it's not only now that she has brought something to Jigawa State.
The Future Assured program has been distributing such items to patients in the hospitals and less privileged. From Dutse, Hawa Halera Haruna, NTA News.
Dotun in Lagos is ready with some stories from that access. Dotun?
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Lagos. Official statistics released by the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency shows that there were more collapsed buildings and fire outbreaks in the state in 2019 as against previous years, with scores of deaths and millions of property lost. Ken Igbeluge takes a look at measures put in place by concerned authorities to prevent reoccurrence in the year 2020, as well as situation reports from some of the affected areas.
Perhaps the fire that gutted this building in Balogun Market, 3-story building at Itafaji, residential building at Global Road, Ikoyi, another 2-story building at Mercy Street in Lagos, and several other areas in the state could be regarded as major disasters that occurred in Lagos in 2019. A visit to these affected areas after several months the incident occurred showed that the people in the affected areas have moved on with their lives.
Yeah, don't burn. We just try because we don't get another business to do. With the manager.
I can tell you that we just manage. Business no fix.
Deployment of professionals and adherence to best global practices in building construction are some measures adopted by concerned authorities and professionals in reducing disasters in the state.
Sensitization, advocacy to all corners, changing the people orientation.
The government has done its own because right now if you are building, you're expected to have a fire certificate, you're expected to be sure that there's a building control, to be sure that you have your the structure of the building is stable. But we circumvent a lot.
While government is making efforts to ensure that there is quality control in construction, developers, on the other hand, have been challenged not to be dubious in the discharge of their duties. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
Public holidays and major seasons festivities may be over in Lagos, but the ambience in the state is relatively hustle and bustle-free. Abalero Ogbara, who went round town, filed this report. The smooth, easy ride experienced by me today after the public holidays is clear indication that most Lagos residents that traveled out of the state for holidays are not back. Major roads in the state noted for traffic jams are devoid of the usual heavy vehicular movement that characterize them.
There's more breathing space. There's more here in Lagos, and there are little people, you understand, like people have traveled, and that way, I think it's better now than then.
I keep on praying that it will remain like this, and the present government should try and make sure that Lagos remain like this. At least if you are coming to work and you wake up and get to the road, you'll be happy to come to work. But unlike last 2 weeks, man, when you wake up to come to work, you will decide that, man, I feel like I'm not going to work, but you must go to work because mom must survive.
Just came from Amuwo Odofe, and in less than 2 minutes we are here. So I wish Lagos can be like this all the time, just like in Abuja.
Although buying and selling are happening daily at markets in the state, many offices and shops are still closed for the New Year celebrations.
Right now, Lagos is somehow boring because people have traveled. As you can see, the road is free, most of the shops are closed, and it's just because of the holidays.
It is expected that normal activities will return to Lagos State after the weekend. In Lagos, Abolore Ogbara, NTA News. And that's our contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this time out. Please stay tuned.
So, you now want to pick my call?
Then bomb me where? Mommy of life. Try mommy.
Where my car?
Mommy, now smart things remain.
If my car not ready for tomorrow, me and you go put leg inside one trouser. One lie.
Cross my phone. Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Not got this phone, no.
All right, yes, ma. Hey, Majekini. Mommy, no be you. Don't waste your credit. When I finish, I go call.
You call me. Me when my middle name na credit. Where Glow they give me boku.
Glow and Mebo. Get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555* PIN #.
This talk people. I beg give me my phone, make I go, Joe.
Ah, talon sa talk yen.
Expressions without words won't have it any other way. Moments will feel joy. Been lost in the moment, the freedom. You will find that's what's celebrating. Bring your moment to life. Find your satisfaction in the nourishing trend and sparkling. Let's start. Celebrate a little ways, making big differences. In the nourishing trend and sparkling.
Enjoy in red grape, white grape, peach variants, the Valletta sparkling fruit drink. Celebrate every moment.
They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people. They traded their freedom, comfortable homes, and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, fearless, loyal, and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the remembrance emblem with pride to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
It is indeed befitting to honor the memory of the gallant author and men who paid the supreme sacrifice to keep the united.
President Muhammadu Buhari enjoins all ministries, parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
We have come to the end of another successful year, and we wish to appreciate all those that mean so much to us. Our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, and above all, you, our esteemed viewer. Together, we made 2019 great. Together, we shall make 2020 even greater. That is why we say, thank you. This is wishing you Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
You're still watching NTN Network News and we are back in Abuja. Guess what? Haven't spent heavily after the week-long Christmas celebration and other activities in the new year. Something is switching the mood of federal workers, and that is the payment of the arrears of the minimum wage. Of course, you know it is the new minimum wage. This has attracted commendation of President Muhammadu Buhari by Nigerian workers. Emmanuel Ayimero sampled the mood of workers at the moment.
When President Muhammadu Buhari signed the new minimum wage into law in April last year and assured federal civil servants of the payment before the last day of 2019, some federal civil servants expressed concern about the realization of this gesture. However, today, the backlog like a saving grace for many.
They tried because when we heard that they were going to pay, we were not so sure it was going to be, but later on we found out that it was true. So it's very commendable.
The federal government have fulfilled their promises. They promised to pay the arrears, the new salary and the arrears in December, which they did. I received my own last week. That is the arrears of about 140-something thousand naira. And majority of us have gotten in my ministry, Ministry of Science and Technology, majority of us, about 90%.
So we want to appreciate Mr. President for his job well done.
Today, everybody is smiling. It's going to be part of what I'm going to use to pay for my 2020 accommodation.
For the likes of Olushola, the smile on her face tells it all.
Already the salary was spent even before it came. So people were very happy having that extra to themselves to do some other things.
Everybody has done their own enjoyment. They've spent a lot, and when they start receiving this money to help them in paying their children's school fees and all.
States that have not actually done so should also fulfill their promise as well.
Now that the federal workers are enjoying the new minimum wage, there are high expectations from the labor cycle for the state governments to toe the line of the federal government for the implementation of the new minimum wage. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTN News.
Quite a mood switch it is, isn't it? The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has recently reviewed charges, fees, and also issued new guidelines for banking services in Nigeria. In view of this, Nigerians are hopeful that this will drive financial inclusion by providing efficient transaction options and greater reach. Uraitam reports.
In furtherance of Central Bank of Nigeria's quest to make financial services more accessible and affordable to various stakeholders, the bank introduces new policies that will take effect from January 2020. Among the new policies are reduction of the withdrawal fee charged for the use of bank's automated teller machine, ATM, to 35 naira, as against the 65 naira usually deducted after a third monthly transaction. Cards linked to savings accounts, the maintenance fee had been reduced to a maximum fee of 50 naira per quarter from 50 naira per month. These policies prompted reactions from Nigerians.
I appreciate the CBN for what they have tried to do, but on my own thinking, I think they should remove all the charges.
If the central bank will, do what they have said, I personally will appreciate.
On debit card charges, the new guidelines stipulated that a one-off charge of 1,000 naira applied to the issuance of cards irrespective of type.
Operating current account and COT is being taken from me from every payment being made into my account and every deduction being made. I want to say that government should do something to wipe it out completely.
Nigerians believe these policies, if implemented by financial institutions, will help the country aligned with market development. In Uyo, Uduak Etam, NTN News.
Time now to join Debabari in Port Harcourt Centre for more reports on the network news. Deba, Happy New Year.
Hello, Joseph, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The need for every state of the Federation to work for the unity of the country was at the center of Governor Nyesom Wike's speech at a New Year banquet held in Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedeko reports that 2 serving governors from the north attended the banquet.
The need for Project Nigeria to preoccupy every patriotic Nigerian cannot be overemphasized at this time in the life of the nation. Governor Wike called on Rivers people to come together to advance the cause of development in the state and the nation.
Rivers State has been key to the unity of this country, and nobody will take it away from us. We believe in the unity of Nigeria. But believing in the unity of Nigeria gives us what belongs to us.
It is indeed always a pleasure and pleasing for me to be here in Rivers State, rivers of peace, rivers of tranquility, rivers of harmony, rivers of possibilities that is also holding the balance of power in Nigeria.
And because of the bridges of harmony on peace and articulations of issues on national relevance, he has made a name not only for himself, but for Rivers and for our generation.
Stand-up comedians were on hand to treat the people to read cracking jokes, complemented by dance and musical performances. High point was the cutting of the New Year cake. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyego, NTA News. In a related development, Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel has re-emphasized the need for the people to remain united and peaceful. Susan Asukwo reports that the governor was saying this at a solemn assembly held at Ibom Hall grounds, Uyo.
The Akwa Ibom State Solemn Assembly, which is held on the second day of every new year, is always an opportunity for the government and people of the state to appreciate God for the previous year, as well as rededicate the state and people to God in the new year. The 2020 State Solemn Assembly, held at Ibom Hall grounds, Uyo, featured praise and dances to glorify God for keeping the state united despite the tension that preceded the 2019 general elections. Governor Udom Emmanuel said the state and the people have many reasons to thank God, noting that irrespective of tongue and tribe, Akwa Ibom State remains one and a united entity. He cautioned those who may want to use politics to cause disunity in the state to desist from it.
I speak by the order of the higher authority that Akwa Ibom land is dedicated to God Almighty.
The officiating minister, Reverend M.M. Jacob, who preached on the theme Divine Favor, emphasized that in 2020, God will send help to his people.
If you can just stretch your faith to me in 2020, the impossible thing will become possible.
The event featured prayers for the state and Nigeria, the leaders, unity and peace, as well as divine direction for year 2020. With the theme Divine Favor for the year 2020, Governor Udom Emmanuel says Akwa Ibom State is indeed in for better days. From the Ibom Hall grounds, Uyo, Susan Asukwo, NTA News.
And as our bid from Port Harcourt is back to Joseph for the rest of the news. Happy New Year to you, Joseph.
Debabare from our Port Harcourt Network Centre there. As the Harmattan cold intensifies, residents of Jos, including visitors, seem prepared for the weather, with temperature expected to come down to as low as 6 degrees later tonight. Saadatu Mohammed Kafar went around the city in the early hours of today to see how people are coping with the cold.
Residents of Jos woke up this morning with an intense cold weather, which according to the Nigerian Meteorological Agency is at 9 degrees. As funny or crazy those dressings may be, it is all in a bid to shield themselves from cold.
The weather is very, very cold.
So there's nothing we can do, it is the time.
While residents of Jos are lamenting over the harsh weather, dealers on the other hand are taking the opportunity to make bricks business.
The people that are buying clothes, Harmattan clothes, they are buying it more than the past season.
The cold weather associated to Plateau State perhaps is common among residents, but for those visiting for the first time, welcome to Jos. Saadatu Mohammed Kafar, NTA News.
Let's just show you some colorful pictures because the uniqueness of Nasarawa State is in its cultural diversities. To this end, a festival is in progress in Lafia, showcasing the heritage of the people towards promoting unity and understanding. Aliyu Tijani Muhammad reports.
Communities across the 13 local government areas of the state and specialized groups are attending. The fact that people participate in the event is an expression of willingness to forge ahead in unity and understanding in tandem with dreams of founding fathers. While many applaud the initiative, Governor Abdullahi Sule on his part says government will continue to support organizers to bring people together for harmonious coexistence.
So it's an opportunity that we are displaying our cultures, very rich cultures that we have in Nasarawa State to the outside world. So I thank you for coming up with these ideas that we should have an event like this.
He says government will support youth in various vocations for self-sufficiency. In Lafia, Aliyu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
Well, just stay with us here on the Network News and back shortly.
With total submission to the will of God Almighty, we, the family of Oleoha Okoliabo Chukudoro of Uli, Ihiala local government area, Anambra State, announce the passing on to glory of our father, grandfather, great-grandfather, brother and uncle, Ogwehi Nwadike Alabuche Okoliabo Ezengolade. Burial arrangements are as follows. Thursday, 2nd January 2020, night of tribute and wakekeep at his compound, that's Umuoma Uli. Friday, 3rd January, body leaves Our Lady of Lourdes mortuary to his compound, that's Umuoma Uli, for lying in state at 8 a.m. At 10 a.m., funeral mass at Sacred Heart Parish, Umuoma Uli. Interment follows immediately at his compound. Saturday, 4th January, 10 a.m., condolence visit continues. Sunday, 5th January 2020, outing service at Sacred Heart Parish, Uli, Ihiala local government area. Time, 8 a.m. Signed by Silva Okoliabo FCA, son for the family.
Let's join Sadia in Sokoto for a few more stories.
Joseph, welcome to Sokoto. In Zamfara State, more than 1,000 households have benefited from the replacement of high-power consuming bulbs with the lower ones recently embarked upon by the Energy Commission of Nigeria. This forms part of the sensitization campaign organized by the Commission in Gusau, the state capital. Salamatu Umar reports.
Despite the availability of resources like water, sunlight, and wind that could be utilized to produce electricity, Nigerians have continued to suffer from shortage of power, which always hampers a lot of socio-economic activities. The Energy Commission of Nigeria embarked on sensitization campaign to the 6 geopolitical zones of the country to create awareness on the need to make judicious use of the available energy in the country. Use of low-energy consumption bulbs in houses and other public buildings will assist in ensuring that the limited megawatts generated covers the whole consumers in the country.
We also provided 1,000 number LED bulbs to replace the incandescent lamps that have been used.
Federal Government Girls College Gusau was presented with 500 low-energy consuming bulbs. The Commission also extended similar gesture to a neighboring village where many bulbs were replaced with LED bulbs that consume only 3 to 9 volts. The benefiting households express appreciation for the gesture and promise to continue using the new source of light. From Gusau, Salamat Umar Abdullahi, NTA News.
Now, promoting HIV testing is one of the critical ways of checking and managing its prevalence in the society. Musa Abubakar in this report examines its importance in the society.
It's a good news for Sokoto State and the Northwest region, with a 2018 Nigerian HIV/AIDS indicator and impact survey showing that HIV/AIDS prevalence rate is declining from 6% in 2008 to 0.4% in 2018 for Sokoto State, while the region recorded the lowest prevalence rate amongst the 6 geopolitical zones in the country.
More interventions were adopted that translate to reduction of this prevalence to 0 to 3% in 2014.
But ignoring HIV/AIDS testing before marriage is still an issue of concern. HIV/AIDS testing before marriage appears to be a matter of choice for many Kwata State, unlike in other states where religious and traditional groups require couples to take the test as a condition before marriage. This is set to demoralize BEAT to combat the disease.
Any person who is going to get married to take his partner to the laboratory for a HIV test. This is very, very important.
Our community leaders, our traditional institutions, they should advocate for premarital screening.
There's an end in sight to the prevalence rate, but community leaders must act now through collective action to promote the well-being of the society. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NT News.
Contribution from Sokoto, it's back to Joseph in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you, Sadia. Let's just bring you up to speed now on sports. Nigeria clinches first sports gold medal in 2020. Kene Emma Abudike tells us more on Sports Update.
As Nigerians gather for different sporting events in 2020, Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Sanda Dare, has outlined some of the plans of the ministry, which include renovation of 4 FIFA standard pitches by the first quarter of this year, athletes' welfare, grassroots sports integration, as well as repositioning the sector for viable business potentials. Dare said the ministry will also monitor and ensure the completion of about 20 mini stadia across the country. Nigeria women's beach volleyball team has won the country's first gold medal in 2020 by winning the Camtel International Beach Volleyball Championship for the second consecutive year. The duo of Francisca Ikede and Amarachi Kelechiku defeated South American champions Brazil 2-0 in the women's final on Wednesday. The men's team settled for bronze medal after losing to host Cameroon 2-1 in the third place match. Meanwhile, Nigeria's senior women volleyball team Thursday departed for Cameroon, where they will battle Egypt, Kenya, Botswana, and the host for Tokyo 2020 Olympics indoor zonal sale ticket January 2 to 10. President of the Federation, Musa Nimrod, who visited the team's training camp in Kaduna before their departure, expressed belief that the team will excel in the Cameroon qualifiers. Also on Thursday, Nigeria's female beach volleyball team departed Lagos for Accra, Ghana for Olympic qualifiers in which they will face Togo, Ghana, Benin Republic, Niger Republic and Cote d'Ivoire in the zone January 2 to 7. With Sports Update, Kenan Ima Abodike, NTA News.
And just before we go, let's quickly take a look at a prospect for tomorrow. And that's NTA Network News. From me, Joseph Johnson, and the entire crew, thanks for watching. Good night.
can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
Hello, it's a warm welcome to Sports Radio, reaching live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Gift George.
This is the network service of the NTA.
They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people. They traded their freedom, comfortable homes, and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, fearless, loyal, and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the remembrance emblem with pride to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
It is indeed befitting to honor the memory of the gallant hearts of young men who paid the supreme sacrifice to keep the country united.
President Muhammadu Buhari enjoins all ministries, parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
My name's Mr. Muftau Abiodun Balogun. We started this business 4 years ago, and this is the production outlet where we do about 4,000 to 5,000 birds per day. With the closure of the border recently, we've been experiencing massive surge in demand. Our sales per day now is going to between 15 to 20,000 birds. We needed to to expand all avenues.